message, and it's a plan that everybody should be following. So I think that's just fabulous. But I also, I want to ask you, what about people who, don't fit into that, let's say 9 to 5 kind of thing so they can get to bed at 10? I mean, there are many workers who work that midnight shift, or like hospital workers and other people. If we go to a gas station, there are just places where you do work a night shift. What about those people?
Yeah, first of all, if you're able to change your shift to a day shift, then go ahead and do that. And I understand that not everyone can do that. And so just do the best you can, right? So that's all we can do, is do the best you can and let the rest of it go. So if you're sleeping during the day instead of at night, still try to set yourself up to where you'll be able to sleep as much as you need. And I find that for men, it's 7 to 8 hours a night, and for women, it's 8 to 9, and it can be more. And so allow yourself that time and that space without bringing in the stories around, I'm lazy for sleeping too much, which used to be one of my stories, and I was chronically sleep deprived, and that was actually a big part of the equation. And allowing yourself what you need. Work within your circumstances. There's a lot of circumstances that are not ideal, but you can still create amazing things out of them.
So, tell us a little bit about your Age Backward program. How do people work with you on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have an introductory program. It's the 40-Day Miracle Age Backward program. It is 40 days long, and I have another one starting soon. We start with nutrition success, and I have a specific plan for resetting the body, and that means weight loss, sleep, energy, metabolism, all of these things that are so crucial. And so a lot of people do come to me for weight loss, although that's not the only thing, because I weave so much more into it. The second module is mindset and belief system, because the quality of your life really starts in your head. The third module is to work with giving your body a voice. And then we tap into your hidden potential and wrap it up with a bunch of extra bonuses. So it's a program that's really helped a lot of people with various things, from chronic illness, starting to turn that around, a kickstart to losing weight, and to finding more happiness.
So tell us a little bit about some examples of client transformations that you've had. What has been accomplished by some of the people that you've worked with?
I have really been able and really honored to help a lot of people turn their health around. I have one client who came to me a year ago, and she'd been chronically ill for 18 years. Her story sounded a lot like mine. She'd been to all the doctors, lots of great doctors, naturopaths, and you name it, she'd tried it. And she just wasn't getting better. And like I said, it had been 18 years, so she wasn't able to work, and didn't have a lot of energy, couldn't really exercise, wasn't leaving the house much. And after we started working together, I got her on a nutrition plan. We worked with mindset, and we worked with a lot of these different pieces that I've mentioned. Within a month, she started noticing an improvement. And within a couple of months, she had a 50% improvement with symptoms. So she had twice as much energy, she was sleeping better, she was losing weight, and within 6 months, she said that 80% of her symptoms were gone. And that last little piece is still something that we're working on, and it has a lot to do with old stories and patterns and belief systems, and so that's deeper work. And so it's really possible that no matter what you've been struggling with, and no matter how long, 18 years is a long time, and for my story, 16 years is a long time, it's still possible to turn it around. So that's one example. I had another gal who came.
I'm going to just stop you right there and ask you a question that is totally beyond me at this point, and that is, she went to all these different doctors. I mean, from naturopaths to regular medical doctors.
Yes.
I'm not sure why they were unable to diagnose what was wrong with her.
It wasn't
I don't understand.
yeah,
No,
and
I
it
just
wasn't
don't.
a diagnosis issue because, um, you know, it they knew that there was inflammation, there was a thyroid situation, and the bottom line is when you go see a doctor, and let's say you see them every month, and usually that's the most someone will see their doctor, maybe twice a month. Well, it's not really enough to change your lifestyle habits. They're not really by your side and in your corner all the time. They're not accessible outside of those appointments, right? So when you have a coach like myself, I make myself very accessible to my private clients. So if they're struggling with something, they can reach out to me and they are supported in a way that you just don't get with doctors. Like I said, you can only access doctors when you have the appointment.
Wow. Well, I mean, there's a perfect example, everyone, of why you need to have a coach. I believe everybody needs a coach in something, and certainly I can see where you can identify with these people and you can certainly help them. So how would people connect with you so they could learn more about you and what you do and your programs? Where would they go?
Well, the best place to go, I have several different websites. I'm going to direct everyone to transformhealthsummit.com. And that's because I just wrapped up a big worldwide online event where I interviewed 27 experts in the industry. And 3 of those interviews are available as soon as you enter your name and email, as well as my ebook, which sells for $27 on my website. So between the two, you have a lot of great resources, and those are free, and it just introduces you to my community and allows you to stay apprised of what I'm working on.
So give us that website again.
It's transformhealthsummit.com.
And they have access to some of the recordings. And then you mentioned your book. Give us the title of your book again.
It's How to Age Backward.
Just the title alone, everybody would certainly want that. How to Age Backward. And you said how much is that for sale?
I sell it on my website for $27, but through this particular entry point, you'll get it free.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's great. Well, I tell you something. It is just absolutely fantastic as far as I can see from what you do and the effects you've had. And you were going to tell us about one more client that you had. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this gal came to me in her mid-30s, and she'd been having stomach problems, and she was overweight, and she just couldn't seem to control her cravings. And she'd been diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Well, after talking with her and working with her and looking at her lab work, I recognized that she was actually, or I had a suspicion that she was actually dealing with SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And so, sure enough, lab work and testing came out that she did have SIBO, and so addressing the right issue that had been misdiagnosed for years by other doctors allowed her to not only get better and deal with her stomach pain and reduce that, but then start to lose weight and have better energy, the cravings reduced, and everything really improved for her. So first things first, someone who will really go through all of your lab work, really talk to you about different aspects of your life. And oftentimes there's a stress aspect too, where someone is not internalizing stress and not working well with it, and it's affecting their digestion and their moods and their cognitive function and their sleep. So really,
unfortunately, Marcie, I'm going to have to put a stop to this because we're over our time. You're so interesting. So our guests, again, go to transformhealthsummit.com and you'll be able to get Marcie's book and hear some of these recordings. And you have just been a fantastic guest, Marcie. Thanks so much for being with us.